It sure is a delight to be here every Wednesday afternoon. My name is Daisy Leo Asikidi. I want to say good afternoon and welcome again to the program Flipside. Now, we always give you the other side of the news. It's our duty to bring to your information some stories that might have made the news, but enough attention weren't given to them. Like this particular issue. Now, it was World Orphans Day on Monday, and many people did not even know about it. And some people saw it on the news, and even when they did, it's just, I beg, yeah, there are people who lost their dad, or they lost their mom, or they lost both parents. Yeah, this world is cruel, and it ends there. But there are a lot of things that these orphans need. We want to talk about the plight of orphans in Nigeria. We're not just looking at orphans alone, orphans and vulnerable children. But I have a guest in the house who is actually in this matter. She's on the field when we talk about orphans and vulnerable children. But you know the drill. We'll go on a break. When we return, you will meet my guest. Together, we'll start talking about the topic, the plight of the Nigerian orphans. We'll be right back. All right, thank you so much for staying with us. Of course, the program is Flipside. You can actually watch this program live, just in case they interrupt your power. This is Nigeria, we know now. You can just connect to our website and watch the program live stream, itvradioNigeria.com, or you can even stream through YouTube, ITV Radio NG. Or if you still don't have enough data as at now and you want to get the data later, okay, you're in luck. We would always upload the full video of the program on YouTube so you can still catch up. That doesn't mean that you should not make an attempt to stay with us. I'm Daisy Leo Asikidi once again, and now you're going to meet my guest. I have Pastor Mrs. Bose Adano.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for honoring my invitation.
You're welcome.
All right, we're talking about the plight of orphans in Nigeria.
Okay.
First of all, when I was preparing for the program, I love to read ahead. And then I went on Google and I was trying to get what exactly makes one an orphan. I got the person has to have lost both parents. I saw if you lose one parent and you're under 18. I saw if you're above 18, you're no longer an orphan. The definitions were just going back and forth depending on the person who's uploading it. So I would ask you now, because she's actually the proprietor of the Docker's Life Changes Orphanage.
Not actually, but the PA to the proprietor.
PA to the proprietors. Okay, yeah. Cool. All right, so who is an orphan?
An orphan is an individual that has neither father or mother. Doesn't have any of both parents. Oh,
so yeah. Even if you're 30 and you don't have both parents, we'll still refer to you as an orphan?
Of course. When you have no father, no mother, then you are an orphan. Most likely, most cases, young persons grow up to become adults. So some of them lost their parents at much younger ages and some at older ages. But everyone becomes an orphan at last because one day you will lose both parents because nobody will live forever.
That's such a painful thought. Okay, now, let's reduce it to those who are under 18.
Okay.
And are vulnerable. Not just because they've lost both parents too, maybe because they don't have much options before them. But what are some of the problems orphans are facing in Nigeria? How is their life like?
Most of the orphans, they are helpless. And I don't want to use the word hopeless, because when they encounter persons like us, like orphanages and good-spirited persons, they gain their hope, they regain their hope. So most of them are exposed to a lot of abuses. Some of the ones that have come to us, we found out that they've been messed up. Some persons will deceive and say, yes, we want to take care of them, but at the end of it all, they find out that they were betrayed. they betray their interests and they end up maybe prostitutes or some other drug addict or something else, which is too bad. To use a fellow human being of yourself to do things that are contrary, it's certainly inhuman. We found a lot of cases like that. There are so many stories of so many young persons, even babies that were picked from different areas. People are brought to the ministry and they are brought to us, and when you hear their stories, very, very pathetic.
Okay, you mentioned orphanages.
Yeah.
You work with one.
Yeah.
And I'll just digress a little. Let's talk a little bit about the orphanages.
Yeah.
Now, you'd visit I've visited a couple of orphanage homes.
Yeah.
I really love to go there because it reminds me of what I have and how much I should appreciate my parents, God, and everyone has done one form of good to me, you know. So I really love to do that, go there. When I go there, to some, there was a particular one I went to, I'm not going to mention the name.
Yeah.
I was hurting, but I didn't know if I should be angry at the people or I should be angry at we who help. Okay. I didn't know who to lay the anger on. Exactly. I saw a child, a baby, and a baby boy was wearing a diaper.
Okay.
This diaper was full. I could see it was full. And the baby was screaming non-stop. It was just logical that the baby gets a diaper change. Yeah. But our diaper wasn't changed until we left. Wow. And I didn't want to be rude, but after a while, I beckoned on one of the women there, like, change the baby now. Say, Mama, diaper not many like that, so wow. We will change them, but again, 3 diaper for a day. You don't already use 2. You're the shit everywhere. I'm like, really? So because of that, you won't use more. But then again, they said they don't have much. So looking at these orphanages, your orphanage home, is it private or government owned?
Our orphanage is actually private. Dorcas Life Changers is an arm of the Redeemed Christian Church of God Holistic Outreach. Oh,
cool. That one, people don't have stress now. The church sponsors. Okay, but not all orphanages are fortunate to have a big sponsor. Now, what do you think about an orphanage, starting an orphanage home without having your personal resources? There are people who just have the passion and flair for it. Yeah. You bring a child who's abandoned, they will just welcome. But they don't have the financial resources to manage an orphanage home. Do you think it's wise to have an orphanage home when you don't have your own personal wealth to maintain it?
It's not wise at all. When you want to register your orphanage home, one of the things that the government will actually ask about is your personal worth. What do you have as a backup? Because in case, since it's not a profit earning adventure, so you need to have some personal means by which you can support in case other things are not forthcoming from the public or from sources that you have already marked out. So normally the government will ask if the person, what is his worth and how do you intend to cater for the orphanage. And that's what, for our own orphanage, we are passionate about it. We see it as a calling from God, and we see it, we take all the children there as our own children. So we always feel for them, we love them, and you need to come and see how we go about it. So we're not, though we are needful when we get help from outside persons, but we always trust God for provisions, and God is always faithful to us.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the program, of course, it's Flipside, and we're talking about the plight of orphans. You cannot really talk about an orphan without talking about an orphanage, and without talking a little bit about adoption. Now, all 3 things kind of go together. Yeah. We'll go on another break quickly. I mean, we have lots of programs coming up this last quarter of the year, and when we'll come back from that break, we'll get back to what we're talking about on the show. Please don't go away. Eva, thank you so much for staying with us. The program is Flipside. We're talking about the plight of orphans. Now, I want to talk about your orphanage home.
Okay.
Do you have a limit to the number of children you take in at a time?
Well, we actually don't have a limit for now, because most of the orphans that we have are brought to us from the ministry. Most of them, most. So they bring them to us and we have the accommodation and we feel, yes, we can take care of them. We just accept them, and that's how we've been growing. Most of our children are direct from the ministry.
Okay. Now, what kind of help do you think we can render to vulnerable children as individuals? What kind of help can we give to them to get them good nutrition, good education, shelter, and love?
Yeah. I think the first thing that such children will expect from us is love. Such children will expect love from us. Some have been taken by relations and well-wishers that eventually made them miserable. So immediately they come to you, they expect us to show them love. And in our own orphanage home, what we do is, apart from showing them love, we look for their health challenges. Immediately we get them, we check for HIV, we check for hepatitis B and any other health challenges. And if we discover any, we will begin from there treating them. After that, we take them in and try to show them the love of Christ. We open to them that there is hope for the future, and we groom them up in the way of the Lord. And after that, we try to take them to either, if they want to go to school or they want to attend to skill. Like presently we have a vocational school that just picked up some few weeks back, and our intention is to raise them up and give them something that can keep them going. So we pay their fees, we take them through school, and we give them a hope. Some of them have graduated. Some of our students graduated. They came from Benue State, and they are on their own. They are doing their tailoring and they are comfortable. Some have a restaurant. We open restaurants. So many of them, we have a lot of life testimonies about people that we have helped. And one of the first things that made them to really appreciate us is the love. We just show them love, embrace them, kiss them, and give them whatever they need that we can afford. And I think that has been a lot for us. We've had persons that maybe were taken out of the country. We have some few cases now, and then went out of the country through someone, and when they got there, they say, you didn't come for restaurant business, you didn't come for fashion, you didn't come for hair making, and you are welcome to the Ashawo community. You know, what an embarrassment, and you don't have parents or friends around you, and after all of that, you find out that such a person has lost hope. You see, then when we pick them up, we tidy them up and give them hope. Some have children, they don't even know the fathers. Imagine a young girl of maybe 16, 15, 16, 5 men using that one girl consistently, and she gets pregnant, and she doesn't know who is father of the child. You know, such a lady, and she wants to live her normal life, but how can she live her normal life having a child that she doesn't know any source to take care of such a child? So we take both the mother and children and we take care of them. And of course, there are testimonies. I don't want to blow trumpets, but we have living testimonies of people that have regained their destiny through us.
Because I was about to ask the question if it's possible for someone who grows up in an orphanage home to have that feeling of belonging.
Wow.
Or you've already answered it in your explanation.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about adoption.
Okay.
Some people do adoption the legal way.
Okay.
Some who are related to the children, they do it in an informal way. Just my sister's husband has died, my sister is late, so I take the children, they become my child, and all that. But do you really think it's possible to love a child that is not your biological child as much as you would love your biological child? Either you adopted it through family, or someone who's not even related to you, you picked the child from maybe a system.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Well, I will say it depends on the person that is involved. The person that is concerned matters most, because like in our own side, we don't have any other way to explain it out apart from the fact that because we have Christ, because we have conscience, and we believe that these people, what they really need is love and care. So once we can give that, then we are sure that every other thing follows. If you can take care of your child, there are even parents now that have relatives, blood relative children with them, and they just maltreat them, make them look like nobody, and that's not good enough. Is not good enough, because everyone is created in the image of God, and if God shows us love, we are expected to show others love. So one of our number one thing that we give out, not money, not education, is love. And we have excess love to show to our children, and we've never had any cause. And so many of them are alive, and I think that it will be good and nice, especially for the women. If the men cannot appreciate and show love, the mothers should. At least that child was given birth just the way you also give birth to your own children. So we expect that mothers should have the heart of love, and they should be able to take care of other people's children. After all, you came out or stepped out to say, I want a child from an orphanage home, and that's why we've not had any cause to undertake the adoption process.
Okay.
We've not given out any child officially to anybody, and just because of the love we have, we are even skeptical whether this person will be able to take care of these children the way we do, because we are so connected and interwoven with them. We really don't want them to go. But if they are brought in by the ministry and the ministry so decides, all well and good. But we haven't done any adoption, and I think it's the best for every woman hearing me. You need to take those children as your own children, because after a while your children go up and they leave your environment, they will fall on strange hands and who knows, so that you will not be reaping from where you have sown.
It's very true though.
Yeah,
True. I'm actually the last child of my parents.
Okay.
So just imagine who is home with my mother now. Nobody.
You can see what I mean.
It's okay. But how hard is the adoption process like? In if you've had anyone who has gone through the process, is it hard? Is it easy? Is it expensive? Do you have any idea?
Well, I think that aspect is for the state government. At least we're under Edo State. The state government is supposed to give us that, but we personally, we have not done any. But for my little idea, I think there are procedures. You don't just go to a home and adopt a child. Every orphanage home is registered under the state government, and there are procedures, there are department of child, that handle the issue of adoption.
Oh.
So when you go through, and I believe that the government does not give out children that have traceable parents because of the disadvantages. You can pick a child and somebody will say, it's my son, it's my daughter. You know how it feels after you have raised a child from maybe day old, and somebody just rise up from somewhere and tell you that you are not the mother, or you are not the father. It can be very, very disheartening. So I think there are procedures, and the ministry will handle that. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's all right. The last question I'm going to ask on this before we go on another break is, what qualities do you think a birth mother should look out for when giving the child? I know you said most of the children are those without traces, but there are also cases, like I see in movies, I've not seen it in real life, but I've seen in movies where the girl, who's maybe a teenage girl, the person who impregnated her has already said, I'm not accepting this child. The family has said no. The girl goes to a home and says, I want to give birth to this child. I don't want to abort the child. but I can't raise this child.
Yeah.
I want you to give it out. So they bring series of people to the single mom to pick from which family you think best suits the raising of your child, and it works. Movies, sha. Well, what do you think will be the best qualities a birth mom should look up for in an adoptive parent?
In adoptive parents, I think that in respect of picking a child from the orphanage home, okay, so, well, I think one has to be prayerful, because you don't really know the source, the roots or the foundation of the child. Some of them, most of them, or let's say a good number of them, maybe they are from these rough, maybe their parents have lived rough lives, prostitutes, and
Thieves.
those people, thieves, all manner of persons. So when you pick children, we should be prayerful and just believe that anyone I pick, maybe through the leading of God, will be the best. And of course, when you grow up the children in your own way, that's why it's always good to take them when they are much younger. You can put your life in that child, show love, pray, and take care of the child, and the child will turn out to be okay. I just believe. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Bosse. We'll go on another break on the show. When we come back, it will be the concluding segments of Flipside. Belly fat is an excessive fat in the abdomen and around the stomach. It looks odd when you wear tight clothes and causes embarrassment. In fact, it's difficult to lose flaps from the belly region. Many people try to lose belly fat by eating less or famishing themselves, which is not at all a good idea and may result in several harmful side effects. The worst part is that the dream of getting flat and slim stomach remains elusive even after taking exercise and a healthy diet, because we, out of sheer ignorance, make many mistakes which shatter our dreams of getting a flat stomach. But worry no more. The healthy way to trim down your tummy is to use natural home remedies. The first thing to do is to change your feeding habits. Banish all junk food from your diet and stick to a healthy diet. Junk foods like pizza, burger, noodles, processed food, and fast food like soft drinks, fries, and pastries have a high caloric value and are too unhealthy. Reduce sugar intake, beers, and carbonated drinks. They cause bloating. So, for getting flat stomach, you have to stay away from them. Reason being that most junk foods are laden with high amounts of processed carbohydrates and sugar, the main cause of bulging and fat tummy. Banish all junk foods from your diet to lose weight from the stomach and to get a flat tummy. Now that you have banished junk from your diet, replace them with healthy food and vegetables. We can't afford to make you hungry. Eat more raw foods like fruits. You will find that they are so much tastier and satisfying than cooked food. It detoxifies the body, makes you feel light and healthy, and over time you won't even feel like polluting your body with unhealthy food. Let your diet include watermelon because it contains 82% water, which helps your stomach not to crave for food. Watermelon is rich in vitamin C, which is beneficial for health. Cucumber also could be included. It contains 96% water and 45% calories. Add cucumber in your diet as a salad or eat raw cucumber to get a flat tummy now. Avocado is another useful fruit for burning excess fat. Avocado is rich in fiber and monounsaturated fatty acids. Use avocado to replace margarine and butter. Another thing is avoid fried foods. But if you must fry your foods, go for oils with high concentration of monounsaturated fats MUFAs like soybean oil and olive oil. Let your diet include nuts rich in fiber like walnuts, peanuts, and almonds. Still talking about your feeding habits. Stop eating late at night as it causes accumulation of fat around your belly. Try to eat at least 2 hours before you go to bed to keep the stomach fat away. Avoid overeating. Large meals put a lot of load on the stomach and intestine. It reduces your digestion. Chances are that a lot of food will be stored as fat instead of used for energy, especially if you are not physically active. Eat slowly and chew each muscle well. It will control the amount of food you take and make you feel satiated early. You must follow this tip to lose fat from your belly and get a slim, flat stomach. Away from your feeding habits, drink lemon juice. Lemon juice on a daily basis will definitely reduce belly fat soon. Add lemon juice in a glass of water, a pinch of salt, garlic, and ginger. Stir it well. Drink this every morning in order to reduce belly fat. Green tea works as a detoxifier which helps in burning the excess body fat. Consuming green tea daily will also make your skin glow as well as make your tummy flat. You should also drink plenty of water. Water helps in reducing weight. Drink at least 8 glasses of water a day. This will not only flush the fat but also make your skin shiny and glowy. Your hair will become healthy. In fact, your whole body will become radiant. After doing all these, you can take exercise to reduce stomach fat and tone up the abdominal muscles. Taking exercise is the best way to tone up your stomach muscles and lose weight quickly. There are several sets of exercises that will help give you a flat tummy and a toned up ab. Exercises like squats, sit-ups, dancing, crunches, and running on a treadmill. Or better still, contact a gym instructor. Don't forget, your feeding habit is the major cause of pot belly. Change your feeding habit and see a positive result. Your body is your responsibility. Take good care of it. Thank you again for joining us on Flipside. My name is Daisy Leo Asikidi. I have Pastor Mrs. Bose Adanu with me in the house. We're talking about the plight of orphans in Nigeria. And we've addressed a whole lot of issues so far, and we have a few more to go before we call it a wrap on today's edition of the show. And now, for everyone who's watching and you're passionate about children, vulnerable children, orphans, and you feel like you want to have an orphanage, but you don't know what it's going to cost, or you're looking at those who are running orphanage homes as people who are making money from it, so you don't know how much they really spend. So let me ask you the question: how much does it really cost, do you think, an estimate it will cost to run an orphanage home?
Well, in looking about the cost of running the orphanage, I think some of the amenities like the accommodation, then you look at your utilities, your medicals, you look at the feeding, you look at clothing, and education,
That one,
or skill development. You look at all of that. I think all of that will sum up to mean what you actually need. And above all, you need to trust God, because you may run into some certain challenges at any point in time. If a child is sick, for example, it's not a funny time for us, because we have to ensure that that child gets well. We don't maltreat children that are ill, because if for any orphanage that is running in Edo State or Benin City, for example, we give a monthly report to the ministry, and they want to be sure that the children are well taken care of. If any child has any negative reports, you will be held responsible. So we do all our best to ensure that the child medically is okay, nutrition-wise is okay, academic-wise is okay, and all of that.
Wow.
So actually it's not all about just getting an accommodation and stocking children, and you know, it's more than that actually. Yeah.
That's complicated. Okay, now that also makes me imagine that there's a limit to the number of children each home should take.
Exactly.
Like in your family house, if you have 3 bedrooms, you won't be having 12 children, except you don't know how to plan. I know there are people who are staying in one room and they have their children, husband and wife, everybody's there, and they're still burning on top. You also know the side effects of that. and the psychological effects. Those, when you leave the house, the things you think your kids are not saying at night, they will begin to practice with the opposite neighbors and all of that stuff. So in thinking about the limit for number of children in an orphanage, do you think we have enough orphanages in Edo State? Because I'm still seeing a lot of children sleeping under at ATM spots at Ring Road, and they are not mad.
Right.
Do you think we have enough?
I
Or
don't
we should
think,
get more?
I don't think we have enough. And if we have a good number, I pray that we'll be operating with the right spirit, because it's actually a non-profit organization. And you know, something that is not producing profits, people hardly get the flair of such business, or do I call it business, or passion, because it's not yielding money per se. So actually I would have loved if maybe Christian bodies, good spirited persons, Christians or Muslims alike, those people that have conscience to actually engage. If you engage with a wrong intention, you can't really take care of them. So when there's no food, well, let all of us be. But if you are running with passion, you do all, you go all the way to ensure that things are running well. Actually, our own sponsorship is not church per se. Our sponsorship, because although the Dorcas Life Changers Home is an arm of the RCCG Holistic Outreach. Holistic Outreach is an outreach that is founded by our Mommy Gio. Okay. That's the wife of Pastor Mrs. The wife of Pastor Adeboye. Yeah. So she runs this organization, and she has given us an opportunity as an extended arm to run out, to reach out to others. So it's actually not standing on its own. It's actually an arm of the RCCG Holistic Outreach, and our intention is to get these vulnerable ladies and the prostitutes in the brothels, and we get these people together. And in getting them together, we discover that they have maybe children, they have so many things. We've had to travel all the way to the east, far east, because of a lady we got from a brothel. And she didn't want to leave this prostitution because she had an aged mother. And the aged mother was so sick because of an uncle that was fighting for their father's inheritance and had to kill the two brothers, and the mother fell sick. And this lady had to go into prostitution in order to keep her mother. So we took up that lady, and we had to go and search her story, her background, to find out if actually this was the issue. And you know, we had to show her love and so many other things to be able to drag her. We have heard of cases where the young ladies sleeping in the uncompleted building, being messed up day and night with strange persons, you know, and bringing them out of the, how many people will be willing to do that if you don't really have the passion for this kind of children? It's not easy, because even in your own private home, you know what it takes if you have a family of 4 or 5. Before you take care of those children, get everybody okay. How many people take 3 square meals now? But in the orphanage, you see that we want to give them 3 square meals. We want to give them 2 square meals. We want to make them comfortable, you know. So it will take somebody that is really passionate to go the extra mile. They are all over the place, of course. Like you said, from your little experience, you know, that you get to an orphanage home and maybe some things are not done, and they say, well, the resources, because it's not as if maybe government is funding the orphanage homes, you know. It's not like we are getting anything. But during the COVID period, we had palliatives, the government, and thanks to Edo State government for remembering us. At least we got some palliatives that relieved us a little while. But after that, you have to keep funding the project, keep doing it. And our joy is that our motto is save a soul today. So we are changing lives, and we are so happy when we see those people coming out to become persons in life. So it's not about the number of orphanages, but the spirit behind the orphanages.
We're about to leave the studio. I can't leave here without saying a special thank you to you, Pastor Mrs. Bose Adano. I'm really grateful you made it here today.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
All right, now, from our discussion, you would know that the funding from the government isn't really much, if they are even funding. Apart from the fact that she mentioned that during COVID-19 there was palliatives. Let's not talk about COVID-19 palliatives today. The dramas that came with palliatives, but at least they did something good. They helped orphanages. But I think we need to have more from the government. Government's resources are much more than any individual, because it's everybody's resources. And then I'm not one for advocating that government should have their own state-owned orphanages. I don't think that works. Let private individuals run it and then get them help. Because I went to a boarding school, in as much as it was okay, I don't want to imagine what it will really be like if it's a state. It wasn't a state-owned boarding school, but if it was to be state, and if boarding house is like that, considering the kind of things we were eating sometimes, dear God, what would an orphanage be like? It takes a whole lot to take care of a child. It takes a village to take care of a child. Talk less of lots and lots of children together in one place. Now we need all the love, all the attention, all the protection, all the resources to make these people have at least a level of belonging, that this is a family. At least have that level of growing as a normal person. Let's not get talking about the psychological trauma of not having your parents with you. Some children cannot even accept love. And I know that if a child brought by the ministry dies in the care of an orphanage home, you will answer questions. Well, even stakeholders, private individuals, businesses, churches, mosques, traditional homes, this is a wake-up call for us. They might not have told you on the news that you should start helping, but we're telling you on Flipside that your resources are very much needed. Instead of spending millions in a club to celebrate your birthday, I'm not saying you shouldn't throw a party, but I'm saying it will make a lot more sense if you gather that resources and give it to a child who might just be the person who would develop the cure for COVID-19 or any other ailment, with proper attention, proper education, and proper funding. Well, I'll leave it at that. I'm Daisy Leo Asikidi. Please save a child by loving them, your time or your money. Bye for now.